Hey everybody, my name is Blake Cadwell. I'm the co-founder at Soundly.com, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Linner Mercury, which is one of the most affordable hearing aids that I've ever reviewed. I have them in my ears now, and I actually think this product is pretty good at less than $300. It's around $250 to $300 depending on the sales that are running. And I want to talk you through what I've experienced with this hearing aid, some of the pros, the cons, where I see it fitting across the overall hearing aid landscape. We're going to get into all of that in this in-depth review. Let's get into it. Okay, before we get into Linner, which is a sub $300 pair of rechargeable hearing aids, which is quite unusual in the hearing aid space, let me just give you a quick lay of the land when it comes to hearing aid prices. So in general, the national average for hearing aids is about $4,500. Typically that comes with in-clinic care. So you're going to go to a doctor, you'll get a test, they'll fit you with hearing aids, and then those devices will be serviced by that doctor or that audiologist ongoing. So that's the typical path. Now, in the last couple of years, over-the-counter devices have become popular for folks with mild and moderate hearing loss. So if you have mild or moderate hearing loss, you can look at brands like Sony and Sennheiser, even Bose. We sell all of those devices at Soundly.com, and we offer augmented services. But occasionally people will reach out to us and ask, if I only have a couple $100s or a few $100s to spend, what is a product that I should consider? And we've been on the search for this product because it's a fair question. Some folks really don't want to spend more than a few $100s, or they're looking for a backup pair and they don't want to spend $1,000 on their backup pair. So we've been looking and we've looked at several different brands to try to find one that we think is reasonable for the price point. And we think we found it in the Linner Mercury. Okay, before I go any further, let me give you a little bit of background on the company itself. They've come out with a handful of products. Some of them look like earbuds or AirPods, and then one of them, Mercury, is a receiver and canal device that sits behind the ear. Now, we've tried all of Linner's products. Mercury is by far our favorite. It's also the least expensive, but we think it's the most comfortable for all day wear. We think it has pretty solid sound for the price. And overall, we think it gives folks the best chance of a successful outcome at under a few $100s. Now, we've talked to the Linner team and they've confirmed to us that Mercury is one of their best sellers, and it's also the product that gets returned the least of their overall product range. So we love to hear that. So let's take a closer look at the product itself. I'll take this out of my ear. You can see it's a receiver and canal device, which means there's a piece that sits behind the ear, a wire that goes up over the top of the ear, and a speaker that sits inside the ear. It's fairly discreet and for the most part about the same size as other receiver and canal devices that you'll see on the market. If you move up to more premium devices like those from Sennheiser, the product itself will get just a little bit smaller, but in general, the visibility is going to be pretty similar. Now, Linner comes with several different ear tips. You can change them out to your comfort. I've chosen one of the smaller ones because I find that's the most comfortable in my ear. Now, there are a couple other things to note about the physical form factor. Unlike most hearing aids, this has an on-off switch. I don't see this very often. Usually folks will push down on a button to turn their devices off. In this case, it has an on-off switch. I actually think this can be a positive for folks who have dexterity challenges or are just looking for a simpler device that's easier to understand. Simply turn it on or you turn it off. Additionally, you'll see that there are volume buttons on the device, so you can just turn it up or turn it down. Now, it's worth noting each hearing aid operates independently. So if you turn up the volume on one device, you'll need to turn up the volume manually on the other device. More premium devices will typically register that volume increase and do it on both sides at the same time. These are rechargeable hearing aids with a full day of battery life with each individual charge, and they have a portable battery inside of the charger. Now the hearing aid just kind of lays down in the charger. There's a little light to tell you that there's a connection, which we like, so that folks can make sure their hearing aids are charging, and it uses a USB-C port, which is simple to find. It also comes with a cord inside the box. As I'm sure you've guessed, these are over-the-counter devices, which means that you do not see a doctor in order to get these products. You can just purchase them directly. We're actually now selling this product directly on Soundly.com. It's the only product we sell at this price point. It's the one that we've chosen for the sub 300 level. And if you purchase through us, you can set up a call with an audiologist. We'll walk you through the setup process. You'll be updating the devices yourself through the onboard buttons, which we'll get into in just a second. But we can talk you through your goals and make sure that the hearing aids are fitting you properly and answer any questions that you might have. Okay, so now the big questions. How do you program these devices, and how is the overall sound quality? So on the first question, these are some of the simplest hearing aids that we've ever reviewed, and that probably explains the lower price point. So instead of using a smartphone app, which most hearing devices will use to customize their sound quality, Linner Mercury devices are simply updated by holding the top button or the bottom button for 2 consecutive seconds. So I'll just do that now. Count 1, 2, and then I hear a beep. If I did it again, I'd hear 2 beeps. And if I did it yet again, I'd hear 3 beeps. There are 3 programs, and you can test out those programs to figure out which one works best for you. In my particular case, I like program 1, but I believe each one targets a different common high frequency hearing loss. Now, it's worth noting that if you have low frequency hearing loss, or if you have a cookie bite like I have, you might find that these hearing aids are over amplifying high frequency sounds. That's because they're targeting the most common types of hearing loss, which is a slope. Most people hear better in the low frequencies and they tail off at the end. Their highest frequencies are where they need support. So Linner's targeting those through programs 1, 2, and 3, really trying to focus on bringing up high frequency sounds. So on the topic of the overall sound quality, these devices do pretty well. Like I said, we've tested a lot of different hearing aid devices, and we're looking for one that's comfortable in the ear and that also does a decent job separating background noise from speech. We feel like Linner does a good job on both fronts. Now on the comfort front, we feel like Linner really excels. This is nearly as comfortable or as comfortable as many prescription hearing aids. The receiver and canal format is lightweight, sits comfortably in the ear. They have lots of different ear tips, so you are probably going to be able to get a comfortable fit. That's not always common when you're at the budget set. Sometimes the wires are really stiff, or there aren't enough ear tips, or a hearing aid itself sits inside the ear and is quite large and creates occlusion. In this case, the comfort to us is a win. Now, on the sound quality front, these are decidedly a budget pair of hearing aids. They do a good job of amplifying sound, but if you put them in an extremely complex background noise setting, you're going to start to have some trouble discerning speech versus discerning background noise. One of the tests that I love to run when I'm testing a pair of hearing aids is opening up a bag of chips while I try to watch television or listen to a conversation. In general, these products are doing an okay job deciphering the bag of chips and reducing that sound while letting me focus on the conversation in front of me, but it's just not as advanced as what you'll find at the $800 to $1,000 price point with something like Sennheiser, Sony, or in-clinic brands that you would get through a local doctor. Now that said, these are $300, so they're not several $1,000s, they're not $1,000. So I really see these almost as a class of their own. My guess is that most folks who are interested in a sub $300 pair are looking for that extremely affordable option, or they're looking for a backup pair or something that will work situationally, like in front of the TV. And I think Linner Mercury is actually a great option for that. If you're looking for something to just get the TV into your ears a little bit louder so you don't have to turn up that volume quite as much, you might wear these just 1 or 2 hours a day, this product could really work very well for you. All right, so with all that out of the way, where do I see this product on the overall hearing aid landscape in the market? Where does it fit? I really see Linner Mercury as a standout under $300. At less than $300, this is a pair of hearing aids that you can really wear for a number of hours at a time. You can get real benefit from. They're comfortable to wear, and I think they do a pretty good job managing background noise. Now, are these the same as our bestseller, which is currently Sennheiser, which sells for around $1,000 a pair? No, Sennheiser is more sophisticated in a number of different ways. But for under $300, this is a really passable pair, and we think that with the right setup and the right mindset going into it, this could be a really successful product for a lot of people. That's the reason that we've chosen to make it our flagship on Soundly.com under $300. So again, if you're interested in purchasing this product, you can purchase it directly through us. We can support you in that decision to help you decide if it's the right product for you. We can also support you if you do purchase the product in your initial setup. We hope this has been helpful as you consider Linner hearing aids, and we wish you the best in your research.